Welcome to the Deep Dive Books channel, where we hope you find something valuable every day.
Let's continue with Scott Adams' book, Reframe Your Brain. This is the fifth part of our interpretation. Scott Adams is a master of influence. We've previously discussed his book, Win Bigly, Persuasion in a World Where Facts Don't Matter, which includes a series of influence techniques, particularly those that help Trump win the presidency with weapon-grade persuasive skills. Adams' Reframe Your Brain is not very systematic overall, but it is quite organized regarding influence. Today, we will summarize some of his methods. First, we must understand that real influence is not about how many followers you have on TikTok but whether you can cause others to change their behavior in the way you want. In this sense, influence is a form of power. Or, to use a softer term, influence is leadership. Getting others to act according to your will is very challenging. Even if you completely own a company, employees might not listen to you. An old-timer like Jack, who relies on his seniority and skills, might always oppose you in meetings. Can you just fire him? Firing has costs, with various regulations in place, and Jack might be indispensable in the company. As any boss knows, power does not mean you can do whatever you want. So even a dictator like Saddam needs some personal charisma to command his subordinates effectively. Influence is the soft power beyond coercion, incentives, and pressure. It's the ability to make people willingly follow your directions. Adams proposes a reframe. Rather than saying high-ranking people have power, it's more accurate to say that those who propose ideas and get them executed have power. For example, the U.S. originally banned interstate telehealth services, but during the COVID-19 pandemic, Adams publicly advocated for legalizing such services. His call received public support, and a few days later, President Trump issued an executive order to make it happen. Adams argues that, in this instance, it seems he had more power than Trump. Even if your position is not high, as long as you propose an idea that the company implements, you demonstrate power. Many high-ranking individuals might envy you for this. If this happens frequently, the whole company will start to see you as the decision-maker. Adams even suggests power equals persuasion skills times audience size. So, having many followers is not enough. Influencers who can persuade their followers are the real threats to the establishment. Let me clarify first, our channel never seeks to persuade readers. I am just humbly explaining a few knowledge points. This section aims to enhance your influence and make you less susceptible to persuasion. Let's start with a basic understanding of people. Influence cannot rely solely on reasoning because, in many cases, such as the following three aspects. People are irrational. 1 is motivation. After retiring from Microsoft, Bill Gates dedicated himself to philanthropy, investing in many innovative charity projects. Some people, including Adams and myself, believe Gates is embodying entrepreneurial spirit and positively changing the world. However, others think Gates is selfish, using these efforts to grow his charity fund. Some even say Gates has sinister motives. Who is right? There is no scientific method to prove someone's true motivation. Many people think they are good at guessing others' motives, but they are wrong. The reality is that people often don't even know their own motives. Another is behavior patterns. People often act without clear logic. For example, if someone is always late for meetings, does that mean they don't value you? Maybe they just have ADHD and get easily distracted, losing track of time. The reality is everyone has some abnormal traits. The most irrational aspect is opinions. Faced with the same facts, different people can have sharply opposing views. If people were rational, you would need to fully understand both sides' arguments before forming your own opinion, right? But in reality, few care about the other side's reasoning. Adams' reframe is that, rather than saying everyone faces the same facts, it's more accurate to say, we are watching two different movies, on the same screen. Each person selectively receives information, and their version of the facts can be very different from yours. Understanding this, you realize others are not obliged to follow your way of thinking. We shouldn't pursue objective truth or human nature, but we can aim for predictability. People are often irrational, but they can be quite predictable. This is not contradictory because irrationality is not the same as randomness. Irrationality can be very patterned. Dan Ariely's popular book, Predictably Irrational, discusses this. Adams mentions some patterns, and I believe two of them are most important for predictability. One is the drive for money. People's motives are hard to guess, but if you bet that someone will act in a way that brings them more money, you're often right. For example, Adams posts a lot of content on social media daily while also writing books. Social media is free, but writing books earns royalties, so you can predict, he will put more effort into writing books. Is writing books just for money? Certainly not, as many things are more lucrative. But if money is involved, people take it more seriously. Another is group identity. Most people's views on public issues are not their own but are given by the group they identify with. If you ask them, they will give various reasons for their views. But in reality, they adopt the views of their group. I believe self-interest and identity are the boundaries of persuasion. No matter how eloquent you are, it's hard to make someone harm their own interests or change their group. These are what we must accept. The rest is where we can make a difference. Here are some of the most commonly used factors of influence. To persuade someone to join you in doing something, emphasize freedom. Every decision either increases or decreases someone's freedom. If you want to hire a good employee, tell them there's freedom in working for you. For a happy marriage, both parties need to ensure some freedom for each other. To dissuade someone from doing something, the most effective tool is fear. Properly used, fear is a nuclear-level persuasive power, socially destructive, and easily exploited by bad actors. Use this tactic with caution. To attract attention, you need novelty. If your PPT has 15 pages, and this page contains the most crucial information, give it a unique, preferably novel element. To make people believe something, the best way is repetition. We recently discussed the power of habituation. Repetition leads to habit, and habit leads to belief. To make someone decide to act, your argument must be simple. People like simple logic. Even a made-up reason can work. The more complex your argument, the more indecisive others become. To help someone understand a difficult concept, the best method is analogy. Analogy is pattern recognition, and the brain is far better at pattern recognition than formal logical operations. Often, analogies are not scientifically accurate, but effective. To gain support, a technique is visualization. A picture is worth 1,000 words. To gain support for receiving illegal immigrants, show a picture depicting their plight. Remember the nickname Trump gave Jeb Bush, Low Energy Bush. The imagery was incredibly strong. Here are 4 more advanced persuasion techniques. The first is pacing and leading, which we discussed in Win Bigly. Previously, we talked about pacing emotionally and in terms of stance. Adams further explains that pacing should also be in physical actions, clothing style, and vocabulary. You should mimic the person you want to influence in all aspects. For example, if you want to have influence among workers, wear work clothes, adopt the posture of someone who does manual labor, and speak their language and expressions. This is what blending in means and builds the easiest trust. Thus, leaders need a relatable image. The principle is that people love themselves the most, and if they see themselves in you, they will naturally be willing to be led by you. The second technique is stimulating desire. To make someone make a significant change, you should paint a picture of a better future version of them. Do you want to sell soda all your life, or do you want to change the world? This trick can also be used for self-motivation. One of Adam's desires is to have the maximum number of people at his funeral. That is a very vivid image, so whenever he thinks of it, he knows what to do now. For instance, he needs to be very famous and positively influential, helping many people. The third technique is making comparisons. Absolute sizes and qualities are hard to quantify, but when compared to something else, the situation becomes clear. People often make the mistake of comparing with perfect or even imagined things, like comparing themselves to celebrities or to the highlight moments in others' social media, which only leads to frustration. The correct way to compare is to highlight the option you want. Real estate agents often show a few bad houses first, then show the one they actually want to sell you. The initial ones are decoys to make the real target seem more attractive. This trick is especially useful in business negotiations. The fourth technique is creating associations. Associating something with a beloved thing or person makes people have a favorable view of it. This is why ads often use celebrity endorsements. When presenting a project to investors, it's best to link it to a well-known successful project. For instance, if you have a movie project, you could say it's like E.T. meets Titanic. This is an analogy, helping them quickly grasp the theme, and more importantly, the two movies used for comparison were huge successes. Conversely, never associate yourself with negative things. For example, on a blind date, don't start with a tragic story. Otherwise, whenever they think of you, they'll think of the tragedy, greatly diminishing your appeal. In general, try not to talk about unpleasant things in front of others. Even if it's to promote social justice. You want people to think of you as positive, kind, and inspiring when they remember you. I understand that, when a person is, in a being influenced state, they live within a narrative framework set by someone else. They are not interacting with the real world. Or rather, there is no completely objective real world. They are interacting with someone else's version of the world, not their own prior version. The essence of influence is reconstructing someone's world. The upper limit of the effect of influence is determined by the other person. The more your framework aligns with their interests and identity, the better the effect. Sometimes they just need you to give them a reason. The ultimate guarantee of influence, however, is you. If you have a high reputation and good image, your words will carry weight. How are such an image and reputation accumulated? Perhaps the greatest use of influence is not in influencing others but in influencing yourself. In the next video, the final part of this series, we will discuss how to reframe your own worldview.
If you feel there is value in this, please like, subscribe to this channel, and leave your thoughts or suggestions in the comments section. Let's grow together and read more good books.